Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. My name is Khandy and I am so happy that you're back for another one of my videos. For some of you, this may be your first time watching. I am an adoptive mom. We have a perfect baby that we adopted almost 2 years ago as an infant. And when we were starting the journey, I was finding it very difficult to find any information online that I found relatable. So I would say a few months ago, I decided to start a YouTube channel so I could help other adoptive or hopeful adoptive parents, with an outlet so that they can get information. I am by no means a polished YouTuber or anything like that. I am just an adoptive mom here to help you out, because along the way, since starting this channel, I have found so much information that I have found helpful that I didn't know myself before starting this journey. So I'm hoping to be able to help you out with some of that. So with today's video, and I always have my handy dandy notepad here. Like I said, I'm not polished. I'm just a regular mom, okay? So today we are gonna be talking about where do I start? I'm a part of a lot of adoption Facebook groups, and I hashtag a lot on Instagram. And I find that there is that question all the time as to, I'm looking to start the adoption process, or my husband and I, my wife and I, whoever it is, and I are wanting to start adoption, but we don't know where to start. So I'm kind of here to help you out with that, because I would think I also had that concern and I didn't really know all my options. I know for a fact I didn't have all my options. I didn't know all of the options that were available to me. So here we go. So the three that I'm going to be talking about pretty much in this video are going to be foster, private, international, and I'm just going to kind of go into depth a little bit with those three. Excuse me, I have a little bit of cough. Okay, so you have the foster care system, and the foster care system is usually always free. I think that it takes such a beautiful whole heart to open up your home to foster care. And I say that because you are going into this experience knowing that the goal of foster care is reunification with their family. And so you, as a hopeful adoptive parent, or as a foster parent, hopeful adoptive parent, in the end, you are opening up your home, your heart, your family, knowing that at some point this child could be removed from that environment that you have now created and made them a part of, and put back into a situation that you may know that is not the best for them. And I cannot imagine the hurt that comes with that. However, this video is not about that. This is about options that you have via adoption. So when you go through foster care, it is normally 99.9% free. Your home study is free. The classes that they give you, the parenting classes that they give you, are free. Even the attorneys that they give you are free. There might be some cases that you might have some court costs associated with it. However, 9 times out of 10, foster care system is going to usually be inexpensive. However, it is usually very lengthy. It is usually very lengthy, and understand that the first child or sibling set or children that you have in your house, there may be some form of a revolving door, because again, the reunification of the foster care system with trying to make sure that children are put back with their families when they deem them fit to have them back. And that is fine if that's what's best for the child. We all know that that's not what always happens, but we just have to hope and pray that that is the case. Okay. There is now us.kids.org. If you go onto that website, those children that are actually in the foster care system, their parental rights have been severed. They are ready for adoption now. So your adoption will be free. Those children are usually older. They need as much love as those cute little babies that you just love to fawn over, if not more. They may be sibling groups. They need as much love as anyone else, maybe more. Or they may be special needs children who need as much love, if not even more. So you can go onto uskids.org and look at those children in your state, and see what children are available now for adoption, and open up your home to those children, because there are a ton of children in the foster care system that are ready to be placed into your home for adoption right now. Their parental rights have been severed. So that's foster care. We have domestic adoption. So domestic adoption is it's a wide range. This is something that you usually choose to do. It's usually an infant adoption. I'm sorry, I feel like a piece of my mascara is in my eye. So usually you might be doing a self-matching. So you may be on social media and you have a specific hashtag, or you just may be self-matching. So you may be just doing it word of mouth, and you are going to try to match that way. That has worked for hundreds and thousands of people. It is less expensive than, of course, the next option that I'm going to say, but there is a cost associated with it, because with that you still have to self-promote yourself. And so most of the time you're going to be building some type of advertising book that you're going to be handing out to birth moms. You are still going to be retaining legal, so you're still going to be getting an attorney for yourself. Birth mom, you're still always going to have that handy dandy home study. So you might want to also consider exactly what you're going to do with that, because if you're going to self-match, I would just go ahead and start my home study just first. Just go ahead and just get it done, because you're just going to need that. So whether you are going to go through foster care, you're going to need a home study. Whether you're going to go self-matching, you're going to need a home study. So just get your home study done. Get it cleaned up, because those things are just going to be requirements. The next one is going to be a private domestic adoption through an agency. Again, almost the same thing as the previous one. However, you are hiring an agency. This one does come with a handy dandy cost. They vary. You have some huge national agencies, and you have smaller agencies that they just deal specifically with their states. The cost varies. I mean, and thousands of dollars. You'll have some agencies and they charge $5,000, which to me sounds amazing. And then you have some agencies and they charge $45,000, and it's like, oh, but you know, each one of them have clients. Each one of them are successful. So I guess you kind of have to go where you feel comfortable and where you feel like you'll be the most successful. My husband and I, we went with Angel Adoption Inc. The minute I spoke with Katie, and I don't know how many of you watching this video have ever called Angel Adoption Inc. She sold me. That's honest to God the reason why I signed with Angel, because of her. I think you get a feeling in your gut immediately when you speak with people, and you find a genuine connection with some people. And I felt a genuine connection with her. Don't get me wrong, I did my due diligence. You need to find a licensed agency. You need to read every review that you can get. When they sent me the packet in the mail, I called every single person that was on their referral list. I called every single person. I left them emails. I sent them texts. I stalked them. The people that left them Google reviews, I also contacted them. So every single thing that I could do on my end to make sure that the money that my husband and I were spending was going towards something that I felt was going to give us something back in the end, which it did, because 52 days after signing our contract, our daughter was born. Raised the roof. Yep. So it worked for us. But again, do your due diligence. I would never say go with an agency because you had a coworker that had a cousin in Nebraska and you live in Maine and they signed with such and such agency in Oklahoma. And it doesn't work like that. You need to do your own research and figure out what works best for you, or you and your spouse, or just you and your own family dynamic, because every agency is different. I mean, literally, they are so different. So if you are starting this journey out, do not jump headfirst. I jumped headfirst. I can be honest with you. I jumped headfirst with Angel, but that's just who I am naturally. I am just I don't really think too much before I do anything. I just kind of go at it. Go. And this worked in my favor. So I would say definitely do your due diligence. Ask questions in these Facebook groups. Do your own research. Hashtag them. Call them. Speak with them. Just get a good vibe, because when you spend this money and you sign this contract, you are pretty much giving them 2 years of your life to help you become a parent. That is a big deal. You know what I mean? And if you're just going off of someone else's word, their needs may not have been your certain needs, or their requirements may not be your requirements. You know what I mean? So you have to make sure that whatever you want is something that they can guarantee. And it's hard to say guarantee, but yes, guarantee. When I went to Angel, I wanted them to make me a parent ASAP. You know what they did? They made me a parent in less than 2 months. That worked for me. That worked for me. It worked for me. You know, so again, everybody's different. Do your due diligence, but make sure you're finding a reputable agency that is licensed, that you are researching, because just because they're an agency and you can find them on Google doesn't mean that they're good. Okay? Like, let's be honest. How many hair salons are still open and you look at their clients and you're like, why are you still there? I'm just saying. The last one is the last one is going to be an international adoption. Now, this one is by far the most expensive. However, there are different reasons why it's expensive, because you have some countries, like I'm originally from Jamaica. Big up Jamaicans. So I'm originally from Jamaica, and if you look at international adoptions, Jamaica is going to be by far one of the countries that is the least expensive to adopt from. I've looked at that. However, there's so many different things that you need to do before you can bring that child back to this country. When you add the lodging in, how long you would have to remain in that country before all the baby's paperwork is actually in order, I can't imagine how expensive that adoption would end up being, just because of the lodging, because of the duration of time you have to stay in the country. So you really need to look at all these things. So you have an international adoption. You definitely would probably need to hire an agency that deals with international adoption, and most of them are faith-based. So be very prepared for that. I said most of them, not all of them, but most of them are going to be faith-based. Every country has their own criteria that you have to meet in order to be able to adopt from them. Not every country you can adopt from, like being a national of whatever country you're from. Like there's certain countries, if I was still a Jamaican national, like a Jamaican citizen, I would not be able to adopt from certain countries. You know what I mean? So let's just throw China out there. So for China, in order to even apply to adopt in China, I would have to be married, right? I couldn't be single. And these laws change all the time. So I would have to be married, and I would have to have been married for at least 2.5 years. If I was previously divorced, and they just updated this because before they didn't allow anyone that was previously divorced. Now, if I was previously divorced, I would have had to been married to my new husband for at least 5 years in good standing. What does that even mean? Like, how would they know if we went to counseling before? But in good standing. My BMI would have to be a certain percentage. So in other words, I couldn't be overweight. You have to be at least 30 years old to start the application process. No, to start the adoption process. You can be 29 and a half to start the application process. You cannot have any history of any type of mental illness. So they are going to ask you for at least 15 years of your medical records. If at any point you took any antidepressant, and you didn't even have to be depressed, because we all know that antidepressants are used for a plethora of other illnesses, you know, just to offset whatever else is going on. If you were prescribed it, you will then be disqualified from adopting a child from their country. There's so many different stipulations. Most countries, you have to either be a single female or married, heterosexual married. I think the only, in my research, I believe the only country that I saw that you could be, and correct me if I'm wrong, I am just a regular mom, limited time. I have an almost 2-year-old. She keeps me busy. The only country that I saw that you could adopt if you were a single male was Poland, if I'm not mistaken. The criteria is crazy. You have to be a specific, and these are for all countries, you have to be a specific age difference between you and the adopted child, because you know a lot of times when you see children being adopted from other countries, a lot of times they're teenagers. So a lot of the countries say you have to be at least 22 years older than your adopted child, or 18 years older than your adopted child. All these different things. Certain countries have religion requirements, like you have to be Catholic in order to adopt from their children, or it's preferred but not required. So like I said, every country is different, but if your heart is leading you to international adoption and you know for a fact the country that you want to adopt from, I would highly suggest that you look at this country's requirements, because one small thing can disqualify you from that. One small thing. I did notice that a lot of the Latin American countries, their criteria were a lot more lenient. Also, China's was probably the easy, even though it seems like they're very picky, it seemed like it was probably the easiest to adopt from. So again, like I said, with the domestic private agency adoption, you have to do your own due diligence, research these countries, research these agencies, research the costs, because you are going to be investing so much of your time. And unlike me that lives in North Carolina and I could be traveling to Georgia, to adopt a baby, you would be traveling across seas, so this is something that you definitely want to consider when considering international adoption. You have to make sure that it is right. It is right for you and your family. But that is, I believe, let me flip over to the handy dandy back of the paper. That is all I have. If you and your family, or you yourself, are planning on adopting internationally, or you have adopted, I'd love to hear what your experience is. Or experience has been. Was it easy? Was it difficult? Do you plan on doing it again? Is this something that you've ever thought about? I mean, to be fully transparent, when Kenny and I first got married, I always wanted to adopt 2 little girls from India. It's something that I would still want to do. I don't know when we would, but I've always just loved the country and the culture, and there's just something about how family oriented they are. There's just something about it. But again, do your due diligence and do your own research. But I would love to hear more from you if that is something that you have done. Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. Please like this video. Go ahead and subscribe so you can know when I, turn on your alerts so you know when I upload new videos every week. And thank you so much for watching. My name is Khandy, and have a great day. Bye-bye.